Well, it's time for episode 393 of the 3 Point Podcast. As always, we're presented by the Memorial Healthcare Wellness Center. Make sure you get in shape with a membership today. Follow the Wellness Center on Facebook. Also, download the Wellness Center app. Our other great partners include AZee Branding Solutions, Blackstones Public House, Great Lakes Apparel Company, Jacobs Insurance Agency, Kori and Associates Real Estate Services, Nelson House Funeral Home, Nichols Painting, Shiawassee County Fair, and ALS of Michigan. As you can tell, we have some great partnership, and another one of our great partners is our sponsor spotlight today. Success Group Mortgage and Servicing. Whether you're buying a new home or refinancing an existing mortgage, pre-approval is your first step. Only one person to get a hold of. That's Jim Woodworth and his staff. He'll help you with this and any mortgage questions. I know he helped Jared in his move to Houston. And he also serves Michigan, Florida, Texas, Colorado, and California. For more info, go to successgroupmortgage.com. And we really do have some great partners. We won't stay on it long, but man, it's just a great mix and great local people that we really appreciate them being on board. And anytime you're in any of their businesses, tell them you heard their message right here on 3 Point Podcast.
Definitely. I know we recently brought on Great Lakes Apparel Company. I had a couple things that I needed, like some fonts put on, some embroidery, I guess, a hat and a couple shirts. And I've been there's places around Charlotte I could take it to, but it was like, you know what, I'll mail it to them. I'll probably call or email them, make sure it's something they can do. But yeah, I'll hit them up and have them get it done, because I know they will. We share their stuff on social media. They do a lot of great work. So yeah, all of our other partners too, as always.
Absolutely. Well, let's catch up a little bit. Jared, again, just a quick question to you. You're settling into your new job down there in Houston. The weather's definitely better down there than it is up here in this frigid Michigan weather. But right. You finding your little niche down there now, covering the Rockets?
Yeah, been down here 2 months now. I've been down here a week, but it's been 2 weeks. It's been 2 months. Yeah, it's good to just be in the flow of everyday work, not be latching on to everybody and ask a zillion questions like when you first start. How do I do this? How do I do that? And I still am somewhat doing that, but now it's a little bit more so. It's just come in and do your job. Just be one of the other people, So that part's nice. And then, as for Houston, so far so good. It's kind of funny that we were talking pre-pod that there's this cold front sweeping in, basically across the country, I guess. And some coworkers were talking like, man, it's gonna be cold. Like it's like I gotta turn this off, turn this sprinkler off, that, and it's like I looked it up right before we were recording. It's gonna be like 40 degrees. Right. So what I've also learned is that nice days, like when you think of Michigan in a nice day, it's 80, sunny. A nice day down here to people is like 50s and cloudy. I've realized that. Like, so I was like, dude, I was like bitter cold walking to work the other day. Man, what a great day it is outside. Like, this is awesome. Like, nice day. I'm like, what do you? I guess I don't think it's a nice day. But everybody's just saying just wait till summer. When it's really scorching hot. And we had a little taste of that when we first got down here. It was like 80, 85. And I'd walk, a half mile to work and I'd be sweating kind of embarrassingly. Like, I feel like an athlete. I gotta get a towel and like wet my head off, like, and all that crap. So, we'll get used to it. But yeah, so far so good. Honestly, I really do like the city. The only other city I've really ever lived in or around is Detroit, and compared to Detroit, one, it's a lot bigger, and two, it seems to be like Detroit's a lot smaller of a downtown to me, whereas this is a lot more spread out, where you can be technically living downtown, in 2-3 times the area that Detroit really is. So far it's been awesome.
Yeah, the perspective on like weather, stuff like that is always funny. I've definitely grown accustomed to it with being down here in the Carolinas. Like I was giving my wife a hard time. We were at the park a few days ago and the kids were playing and stuff, and it was like 48, dropped below 50, and my wife had her winter coat on and she's sitting on the bench like in her winter coat, and I was like, the Michigander in you has left. It's just kind of funny to see the different, because we're joking about the weather. That people probably walking around in shorts and stuff, and if they came down from Michigan, if they came down to Texas and it's 60s, 70s, they're like, this is like a summer vacation type of thing. But
all right, well, another thing here, catching up wise, last Friday night I was back in the gym working a third mic on the ball game, Corona and Owasso, and I'll tell you what, it was great being back in the gym on the air, but it was a great night, packed house for the most part. When the boys game started, some people left at halftime of the boys game, but they had a couple good games. They had the Hall of Famer ceremony at in between games. It was a really good night in the gym. And again, congrats to the 93 baseball team, the 2015 bowling team, 1990 grad Butch Urian, Gary Zigo made the Hall of Fame, Hannah Hollister, Charlie Carr, Jim Duffield, and Earl Lancaster. But it's a great thing, and we've talked about it before when they started. I think this is the third class for the Corona Athletic Hall of Fame, and I know up in February we're going to be over to Owasso when they have their Hall of Fame induction. It's just a neat thing. And Jared, by the way, the pep band was there Friday night. It was great.
It is a nice touch. Like I said, it definitely helps out with the filling of the bleachers. It was Corona. I also noticed like something I thought was kind of weird, and I did listen to your guys' broadcast and was enjoying it. Is it looked like only one of the student sections was standing up. I don't know if I've ever seen a student section that's sitting. I guess I was just curious what you thought of that.
Just on the Cavalier, we all are Cavaliers, but Owasso kicked their ass Friday night in the student section.
In terms of the cheer,
yeah.
The student section battle.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Not just on the court, in the student section battle too.
Yeah, it just is. I don't know. It's just you don't want like back in my day because it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't like we had some awesome team and the crowd was absolutely packed out or anything like that. Right. But I don't know. That I always thought the student section was fun, even if it wasn't on varsity. I never would do the chants, but it just seems like a good meeting ground for the school and for the kids. So I just would. I don't know. It would have been nicer to see more people there for it. It is what it is, and I know they're getting their legs underneath them as a program. So better days are to come. But It just would have been nice to see more people there on the Corona section. Especially like you said, it did like it cleared out like 90% at halftime.
It did.
Must have been for the ceremony, but still a good game, and definitely love listening to you guys. The good 3-man weave in the booth.
Yeah, appreciate that. And I will say, Cavalier Nation, come on, step it up. You got to get that student section going, right? It makes a difference.
We've said it before with whether it's a broadcast team or maybe a student section. Yeah, if the program, whether it's college or high school, whatever, if it's down a little bit, it's hard to sell the broadcast sometimes.
Yeah,
maybe it's hard to sell the student section too. I don't know. I feel like, it's still your friends out there playing basketball or football, whatever sport it is. So the student section, it is kind of like, come on, step it up. Because again, I'm not trying to be back in my day type of thing, but our student section went from the floor all the way to the top of those bleachers at the Corona gym even on the Tuesday night games. It was all the way to the top. I mean, they had shirts made and, they had the chants. I remember at one point, we don't have to name names, but someone in the administration had to tell them to back off on some of the chants because they weren't appropriate, So I remember that was a little bit of a buzzkill. They had to have a little more friendly chants to the other team or whatever. But no, the student section, like the pep band, the student section is such a big part of high school sports, high school games. It's cool. Yeah,
absolutely. And you would think they would have had a bigger turnout. Owasso Corona, come on, doesn't get any bigger than that. Doesn't matter what the records are. You got to get out there and cheer on your old squad.
I remember those were huge. Yeah, we don't need to go down memory lane here too long, but I remember because we had a player that played at Owasso, and then he came over my senior year. So when we played at Owasso that year, my senior year, I don't think there was an empty spot on either bleacher, home or away, and that what's their gym called? The
warehouse.
The warehouse was packed to the gills. So that just adds to the whole environment. So yeah, hopefully, like you said, they can get their feet under them as a program and get some more students out there.
Now, you guys, I always sometimes throw something wacky at you. This might catch you by surprise. It's typically would be a entertainment topic, but I want to get it out here in the open. I just happened to catch Saturday Night Live, and they had the Michael Irvin takeoff, which I thought was pretty hilarious. But I wanted to send a shout out to the host, Finn Wolfhard of Stranger Things. He actually did a really good job on the show, I thought. I didn't know if he had any acting chops at all, but he did good.
At least they had self-depreciating humor about Stranger Things,
Right.
and that how that season went and some of the scenes with it. Yeah, I thought they did a pretty solid job too. I mean, all the drama. I mean, there's 4 boys who are part of that like Stranger Things clan, and there's only 3 of them there. So that's what I've been seeing is like, where was the 4th? And they kind of mocked the 4th for his scene. So yeah, I thought it was pretty solid too. I thought it was a good idea by SNL. I thought it was a creative hosting decision that I think it kind of shocked me when I thought that he was doing it. I thought it went pretty well too.
And here's what's probably going to shock you: ASAP Rocky. I kind of like both of his performances. That was pretty good.
Nice.
Are you guys
I got
followers?
no words for that. I mean, I don't know if he's put out music
I know
in 10 years, to be honest.
I know his
At least as far
music.
as I
I'm
know.
not going to say I'm like I'm a subscriber, but that's not what I expected you to say.
He's become more so known as Rihanna's like husband, really,
Right.
than I think anything. But yeah, I don't know. I saw he was in a skit, and he's obviously a good-looking guy. I think it's kind of like that. It's more so that Rihanna's husband now than his music. But I think maybe the most important indictment of his music is that you liked it. So I think that's kind of a good way to look at where his career is headed.
You know what? That's probably very fair. I could go along with that, because some of these artists, as soon as they start, I just fast forward it, and I'm not paying attention to that. But I listen. And, both my wife and I both kind of liked it. It was more singing than the hardcore rap stuff.
Right.
I will say this, fashion statement wise, I don't know if you guys caught it. He had pink women curlers up the top of his head. I mean, that was definitely a fashion decision.
He has an interesting fashion. I will say the best thing of his career that he's done, bar none, without a doubt, is locking up Rihanna. I mean, that's just he wins in that category forever.
Right. And of course, he had the big controversy because his previous lady that he was with, it was accused of I can't remember all the details, but I think he pulled a gun on her or whatever, but he was acquitted. So I guess he didn't do it.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. You went down the ASAP Rocky rabbit hole, man.
I guess.
Did you download some of his music? Yeah.
Who'd ever thought Ted the Sports Guy would be talking about
right.
ASAP Rocky, right?
Right.
All right, let's get into some good stuff, though, some sports. Before we get to our first official break, I just want to tell you, Rivals Tap House and Grill is about to officially become Blackstones Public House. Blackstones will be having their first day Thursday, January 29th at 11 a.m. Several of the signature dishes from the Flint restaurant, Blackstone Smokehouse, will come on over to the new menu, including the blackberry chicken wings. Ooh, baby, that is some good barbecue.
Chicken wings.
Yeah, they're awesome. The interior has a fresh look, including a 75-foot mural along the west wall. Features a montage of area athletes. Blackstone's Public House, located on the corner of Shiawassee and M21 in Corunna. They'll be open Tuesday through Sundays. Blackstone's, the official gathering spot of 3 Point Podcast. We'll be back.
Ted, I was going to ask real quick.
Yeah.
Did you make it to the mural? I haven't been in.
I did not, man. I did not. A former classmate, Charlie LaCure, made it. Okay. I didn't make it, but that's okay. My dad made it, so that's good enough for me. You know?
Did you take a picture of you in front of the mural?
Should I do that?
I just figured you would have taken in picture of your dad, grandpa. Yeah, I would have thought that was the very first thing you did when you got there.
Well,
but no, you don't. It's up to you.
The little selfie with your dad.
Right.
I'll do it because I think I'm going there. You know, the Rivals cards are good to the end of the month, so I got to stop in there later this week so I can make sure I make the most out of that. But I'll do that. I never thought of that. That's a good idea.
There you go.
All right, guys, let's take a break and we'll be back. Let's recap that phenomenal national championship college football game on the other night. We'll be right back. All right, guys, IU 27, Miami 21. Fernando Mendoza, the Heisman winner, proved that there's no doubt, unless they trade the pick, he's going to be a Las Vegas Raider. But thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I mean, for a little while, it was entertaining, but you were waiting for the offenses to kind of wake up, you know, especially Indiana's offense. But that was a credit to Miami's defense. Miami's defense is no joke. Ruben Bain, the defensive lineman for Miami, number 4. I would not be mad if the Lions did whatever they had to do to get him. I know we'll get in this later. Probably we'll want some offensive linemen for the Lions, but put him next to Hutchinson, and I think that'd be a great addition on the defensive line. But yeah, for me, it was waiting for Indiana's offense to finally like click and get going. And Miami's defense just did really well. But Mendoza, obviously, he had the epic call from Fowler and Herbie, his Heisman moment. I mean, he already had his Heisman moment, but his Heisman proving moment, I guess, in the national championship game, diving in the end zone. But the SI cover, the Sports Illustrated cover, that him diving in, you have to think that, I mean, people have been saying it, but if I was an Indiana fan, I'd already have that Sports Illustrated bought and the cover blown up and plastered on my wall or something, because that's just, we'll get into it a little more, but Indiana football winning a national championship, I think, is still one of the craziest sports stories, definitely of this year, but of all time.
Astounding.
And for that picture, him diving in, essentially the winning touchdown, is just such a cool moment. But it was for somebody, watching that with no horse in the race type of thing, just sitting back and enjoying the game. It was a fun championship game to watch.
Yeah, I was rooting for Miami, actually, which might be surprising to some people. I saw about that defensive line, like you mentioned, Bain, Mesidor. I mean, it was so much fun watching them. It just mauling in front of me. Indiana had I think they won the Remington Award for best offensive line in the country. So it's like, the best match is this Indiana offensive line. They still had a pretty damn good game. Obviously, they gave up 27 points, but Mendoza, I mean, just an impressive finish. I mean, made a couple big-time hard plays. He's got the heart size of a lion, it seems like. And what was funny to me, and it was awesome, I wish I showed him a couple times during the broadcast, but I don't know if it's because of Fox or whatever. But Tom Brady standing there on the sidelines basically giving the okay whether or not we're going to draft you number one or not, to Las Vegas Raiders. Made a couple big time plays to get that done. Signetti, you can't say enough about that guy. I mean, he's, in my lifetime, how do you not put him up there with the top coaches pretty much of all time? What he's done is truly remarkable. I mean, it's to me, it's sad that one of my first thoughts is, we just had that Michigan national championship, what felt like it took literally the life force out of all of us to get it done. Of course, of like what felt like a 20-year battle to do it. They did it in two seasons. It feels like they didn't even break a sweat to do it. It makes you look back on that and go, I mean, man, the Michigans of the world, we had our time when we were kings, when we were really head and shoulders above the rest. Same thing with the SEC, a lot of those schools, Bama, some people rumored they were paying teams before the NIL had, and maybe that's why it's leveled out a little bit. I don't know if that's true or not.
We know it's true.
Right. Well, and I know we're going to talk about it, but people who, are, I guess, like Valenti said it, you said it, Matt, or you sent it. Indiana maybe is not good for college football. It's not, I mean, because our world of the transfer portal and, guys essentially being mercenaries, which is what they are. I mean, 1-year deals. Let's see if we can win a title. If not, I'm going somewhere else where I can get more money. And I don't blame the players. But what it's done, at least the one silver lining, is it's leveled the playing field for somebody like Indiana to really take over the college football landscape. The bullies, the Michigans, the Bamas, the Georgias, we've had our time. We had our 100-year run where we could dominate and run this sport. Why not? Let's open it up to the other teams that have, Indiana's had, 6 ranked wins in like 100 years, and then they had 6 ranked wins this season. It's good to see the little guy getting it done. I mean, you saw the fan base. I mean, packed house at Assembly Hall to watch it from Indiana. Ticket prices are freaking $5,000 or whatever they were, because every Indiana fans wanted to go to this game. Good for them. I mean, it's amazing that Signetti came in, said what he said. I mean, I remember clowning him last year before that Notre Dame college football playoff game, where he was on the desk pregame. I mean, he didn't do that at all this year. I thought that was kind of crazy that he did that. And then they lost, and everybody clowned them, said they didn't belong, said they played a weak schedule. I don't think any of us plan on them having a good year this year. Maybe they win 8-9 games, but not a playoff team. And what they've done is number one story maybe ever in college football. Pretty incredible.
Yeah, an amazing job. And I think you know how I feel about the state of college football nowadays. Not really. I mean, I miss the old days, but since they have changed,
old days are long gone, and you have to make the adjustments, and that's just the way it is. And still, college football is still a very enjoyable sport to watch. And as you kind of mentioned there, it's even the field now. It's not just the bags of money in the SEC. It's everybody has to deal with the same thing. I still think they need to come up with a more equitable plan as far as
salary caps and that type of stuff. So it's more fair for the top schools. But it's today's day and age, and that's the way it is, and we'll continue to watch. Now, I want to go back to Cignetti for a minute. He's obviously the man. I mean, even in that game, the players made some plays like Mendoza, but Cignetti had at least 4 critical calls in that game on 4th down, especially that last 4th down call where he was going to kick the field goal, thought better of it. I thought his post-game interview was just fantastic, actually saying what went on for a change instead of some coach speak. It made total sense. He sent the field goal team out, didn't feel good about it, and I love the fact, and they always look good when it works, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't look so good. But I love the fact that he went for the win and didn't play not to lose. That is so key to me as far as a coach. And the other thing nobody really has talked too much about, that last play that Carson picked through that interception. Yeah. Just prior to that play, Indiana called their final timeout to set up their defense. And again, that goes under the radar a lot of times as far as coaching moves. I thought it was brilliant because he had the perfect defense for that play.
Right. Yeah, the clock management and Cignetti, I mean, he said it when he got hired at Indiana. Google me. I mean, he obviously knows what he's doing. He's won everywhere he's been. People just, and for him to win at Indiana, like you said, Jared, they had 6 in program history, 6 wins against AP top 10 in program history. Mm-hmm. And they had 6 wins this season alone against AP top 10 teams. And same with the bowl wins. Program history. They had only ever won 3 bowl games. And they won 3 bowl games this year, on their way in the college football playoff. Like that kind of stuff, it's almost like it is being talked about a lot, but it's almost like, I don't know if it's really being talked about enough, like it's absolutely insane. It's going to be a 30 for 30 at some point, or, something like it's just a crazy story. But Cignetti, I mean, he proved that, and it's something that we've talked about. And I know I've talked about with my friends, like sometimes that's frustrating about when there's coaching changes, whether it's the NFL or college. It's just like the same guys getting recycled all the time. Why not go outside the box? I mean, we've talked about a lot. Why not give a guy like a Tony Annese, a shot from a smaller program? That's just an example. But why not? You see all these teams, I think like Oregon and, not Oregon. It was a few other schools did interview Cignetti, and people were bringing back the reports at the time that they didn't hire, some of these bigger programs didn't hire Cignetti because he's just a JMU guy. He's a smaller program guy. Not sure he's ready for the big leagues or, something like that. And now those fan bases are sitting here like, what the hell were we doing? Why didn't we hire Cignetti? So yeah, it just goes to show like, you don't have to be some like big shot, big name to be able to win in college football. I mean, if you have, he said it in it was either pregame or postgame interview. Yeah, you got to know how to coach. You got to have the right people in place on your staff, but you got to have the right players. And they had a bunch of guys on that roster that had played a lot of football, older guys than a bunch of NFL players, experienced players, had played a lot of football with each other. And just, they had the right mix of everything. Now, can they replicate that going forward? Because obviously this roster was heavy with his JMU guys that he brought over. We'll see. I mean, he's getting a bunch of guys from the portal, so we'll see if he can keep doing this. But yeah, like you brought it up, Jared Valenti. He went on a little bit of a rant. I think it was yesterday, saying that he thinks. I mean, it was maybe just a talking point, but he said that he thinks the Indiana formula, like Indiana, isn't good for college football because of like what you said. These guys are like 1-year deal mercenaries, like. Mm-hmm. What we saw in 2023, you brought it up, Jared, the Michigan team. I don't think even last year's Ohio State team, I don't think we're ever really going to see that again with a roster full of guys that you've seen since freshman year. Freshman, junior, 5th-year players that you've seen at the same program over and over, for year after year. I don't think we're going to see that again. And I feel like that's the point Valenti was trying to make and how just the sport has changed. Indiana proved, hey, just go out there and get the 22-year-old dudes that are looking for that one last year before they make the jump to the NFL. Get that 1-year quarterback, get that 1-year running back, get that, just build a roster like that and go try to win because 22-year-old guys are much different than 18-year-old guys. Bryce Underwood, I know you're not a big fan, Jared, right now, but Bryce Underwood may end up being, a number one pick like a Fernando, but he was 18 years old this year. You know what I mean? Like, 18-year-old kid, what, Mendoza's probably 22, 23 years old.
Exactly.
Very, very big difference, so it is an interesting point that Valenti was making. Does it mean the Indiana formula isn't good for college football? I don't know. I mean, the games were still really entertaining, but there is something. It is cool seeing a guy from freshman year make his way up through the depth chart, and then as a junior, senior playing. So that is definitely different. But I mean, Indiana, it's an insane story for sure.
Yeah,
even
good.
No, I was just going to say, even we've talked about the Signetti move, the Mendoza thing, growing up a mile away from the stadium, not good enough to make Miami's roster and get a scholarship or even a walk-on offer, and to come back and burn them in the national championship game. I mean, like Signetti has said, and like you said, Matt, 30 for 30 or a movie. Hopefully it's not a Lifetime movie, but
it will be. It'll be like Kevin James or some shit playing it.
You're right. But the one thing in the pregame coverage, I just want to throw this out there. I forgot or didn't realize it, that when he was at Cal, they played Miami in one heck of a game, and he lost out to Miami in that one, right?
Right.
Crazy.
Yeah. You sent out a thing. I got two trains of thought. One, the Indiana playing. We've talked about this. I mean, were we way ahead of the train? Did just need to see Signetti, win the title to say this is the future? I mean, we were laughing at Sharon Moore the last time we heard from Sharon Moore, ironically, how he was celebrating how young this Michigan team was, and how all these freshmen started. It made zero sense to build a roster that way, and that's what makes me a little bit worried about next year with Michigan. They're still pretty young. Whittingham's done a good job bringing in some guys, but it's pretty hard to completely overhaul a roster in 2 seconds. Everyone's comparing it to Signetti. Signetti was one of a kind, just lightning in a bottle, all-time great coach, good players at JMU that all came with him from JMU to Indiana to rebuild it right away. Got a good quarterback last year, obviously doubled down on the good quarterback this year with Mendoza. But it is the new wave of college football. It seems like if you're Michigan, get on this track, or we're going to be looking at the end of next year saying the same thing. Man, we're young. The potential is through the roof, but we're not competing with the top tier teams because we're playing with teenagers and they're playing with grown men who probably should be in the NFL. So, I mean, it makes you think about Michigan. It makes you wonder, how are we built for next year? But we'll find out. As for Mendoza, and didn't you have a big time problem with Carson Beck not shaking Mendoza's hand?
Oh, right.
Which I didn't notice. You sent us that.
Well, yeah,
to me, it is not a good look. It's not a good look. I will 100% agree with that. It's not a good look.
Yeah, that's what I said to you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, when I was watching the post game, I saw it, and I said to my wife, I said, "Well, that's kind of rude, I mean, the game's over. I know you're upset. I know you blew it with that last interception, but does it really hurt just to acknowledge your fellow quarterback and say, hey, good game, and then move on to the locker room?" Yeah, it's not a good look. I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm not going to lose sleep about it, but it was a fact, and Carson Beck has had some baggage with him, and he did throw that pass. He throws it. You got to throw that long. You cannot underthrow that pass ever.
Right. Yeah. Crazy stat. I'm sure you guys saw. Carson Beck only lost 6 games in his whole career in college.
Right.
4 of his 6 losses, he threw an interception on the last play to lose the game. So you talk about baggage. He also has a little bit of that kind of baggage. So we've talked about this before. Ted, what did you make of the bad boys walking off and not shaking the Bulls' hands?
To be honest with you, I didn't like that either, to be honest. I mean, I'm a huge Bad Boys fan. I understand it wasn't the first time it happened. Right. I heard their whole story. It's still a bad look to me. Sportsmanship after a contest, after a war is over with, you got to be able to just get by it. Whether you're really sincere on saying, hey, great game, you got to show a little class, I think. And I don't think the Pistons did. And this is just crazy to me, the Isaiah Thomas and Michael Jordan feud that still continues on. I mean, it's nuts.
Yeah, I don't think that's ever going away. Some of those have ended. Like Kobe and Shaq had their beef, and then they obviously put it aside, when they got past their career or whatever. As far as the Carson Beck Mendoza thing, that's why when you sent that text out, I wanted to think about it for a second. And I know you guys aren't making this into like some big thing. We didn't need to make it some controversy or whatever. But, you know, I did end up seeing more people talk about that. Carson Beck, sore loser. This is going to hurt him, his NFL draft stock, stuff like that. And so, yeah, if he was purposely shafting Mendoza and saying, I'm not going to shake his hand, that is a bad look. My only thought on that is, in the hoopla after the game, they're bringing out the trophy, you know, ceremony, the stages and all the media and everything. Like, maybe he did look for Mendoza for a minute or two and just couldn't find him, you know? And like, how long is he supposed to walk around the field when all that's going on? Confetti's falling down on his face. And he's supposed to like sit out there for 20 minutes trying to find Mendoza to shake his hand. Like, you know, that would be my only thought. What if he did kind of look for him? I don't see him. All right, whatever. I'm getting in the locker room. I'll send him. I'm sure they have each other's numbers. I'll send him a text, you know, after the game and say, "Good game, man. Couldn't find you on the field afterwards. You know, sorry."
That would be wrong, but I thought Mendoza actually reached out to shake his hand and he just blew past him.
Oh well, I didn't see that video. So if that happened, then yeah, that's poor sportsmanship. But I didn't see that.
Yeah, I wonder where I don't know if it's because Mendoza's been the Miami guy and he's been harping how they didn't recruit him and, you know, all that. They didn't offer the preferred walk-on spot and all this crap. It's not. Here's the thing: if you know, a champion of care, like let's just say Mendoza did that to somebody, I would have the benefit of the doubt. Oh, he didn't see him. Oh, the guy was running around celebrating like crazy, couldn't find him. Carson Beck has a little bit of a track record, it seems like. And I actually will say, I think Carson Beck is maybe one of the more underrated players. I mean, when he to me, I mean, he's a key piece. I feel like he's been underrated his entire playoff run, really his entire career when you look back on it. Obviously, there's a couple of back-breaking picks that ended, you know, some of his seasons. But when they were marching down the field, he seemed cool, calm. I mean, Herbie set it up perfectly. He's had 43 starts.
Yeah,
that's the type of guy you want leading a 2-minute drive in the national championship. And I mean, got half the yardage he needed, but obviously threw an interception. It was a good point you just made that about Cignetti calling that timeout. I didn't even think about that. You had to think that they got exactly what you said. They set themselves up, saw something, expected something to be coming, set up the defense perfectly to pick it up. But overall, it was a good game. I mean, the one thing that's lingering, and people have been tweeting out, the college football championship game's another week later next year, which is insane to think about. I didn't realize it'll be 2 months between when the regular season ends and when that championship game will be played next year. We got to fix this. What I don't understand, me, this whole stuff has just felt bizarre. I mean, games on a Thursday night, Friday night last week didn't even feel like college. Felt like I was watching an NFL game almost. Yeah. We got to fix the calendar. I don't understand. I don't understand what is the barrier to fixing it. Can you guys explain that to me? Why are we not changing it? I don't like. Can we shrink it by a couple weeks? Like the fact we're making it longer when it's already so long is crazy to me.
Well, I know one of the big things, obviously, is they want to try to avoid directly competing with the NFL playoffs.
Yep.
You know, which I understand that, but there's also a side that like then maybe like figure out a way to like work together or something. You know, like all right, have the NFL playoffs at 1 and 4, and then you know the national championship at 8 o'clock, or you know do something like that if it's on a Sunday or something. But you know, like maybe figure out a way to work together because yes, this. I almost like forgot that the national championship was even coming. I mean, I didn't, but you know, it's like by the time the game came, it was like Michigan played a bowl game, but like the regular season hasn't played in 2 months. Like the season seems like it was so long ago. They could easily back it up. And I mean, we know what Dan Lanning and we've said on this podcast, they could have it all wrap up on New Year's Day at the Rose Bowl and they could figure it out. I mean, there'd have to be some adjusting. And I know the one thing is too, these are student athletes. It doesn't make any sense because they're not really. I mean, Carson Beck himself, we've talked about Carson Beck. I don't know if you guys saw the clip. People asked him like, hey, have you been going to class? He's like, no, I graduated 2 years ago. So it's like, right. Wait, what's happening here? Are you even like enrolled? Like, what does this mean? But because finals, you know, because finals are in December. So, you know, they always say that like, well, we don't want the playoff to start or, you know, whatever, when it's finals week. And it's like, all right, come on, what are we doing here?
Seriously.
But yeah, and I think even the next 4, I saw Brett McMurphy tweet out the next 3 or 4 championship games are all like
later.
January 27th, January 25th, you know, all, and it's like, this needs to change. Like this is too late into the season. I mean, Not much
Who
the
is
three of us
making
can do.
decisions of this anymore? Is it the playoff committee or is it NCAA? That is in we talk
Well,
about
that's not the
Indiana.
NCAA because the
So it's
NCAA has nothing to do with the college football playoff. So it's
Ah,
it's the
so
committee.
it's just it feels like people who are not college football fans are making decisions about about college football. It's kind of sad.
about money.
One
Right. Oh yeah.
But what? How is this making more money? I guess that's what I don't understand.
Did you see that?
How
Did you see the prices for tickets at that national championship game?
$4,000 was the cheapest
was that-
ticket.
Right.
I don't think that's because it was set
Right.
on January whatever day.
Right.
No.
20
Because it was in Miami.
19th.
Right. Right.
Like that would be the same way if it was on New Year's, maybe even more so because people can travel a little bit easier.
Yeah.
I just don't get. No, and it doesn't have to be on New Year's Day. What about a week after New Year's?
Right.
I mean, it almost isn't fair for these teams. Like Miami really feels like they were on a roll, and then it's like they had to restart their roll every game. Like, play a game, 2 weeks off. Play a game, 2 weeks off. It's like at some point, man, it's always the NFL, which is 10 times the size of you, and is playing these games for NFL players who just got off the 19-week season, no break, are rolling right through into the playoffs. And they only get 1 week off between the Super Bowl. It's like that is how a schedule should be. So I don't know how we ever got to this blown up, what feels like an eternity of a season, but it's idiotic. And playing college football on Mondays, playing college football on Thursdays, Fridays, Wednesdays. Yeah. It's what is going on?
I mean, how long ago did Ferris win the national championship? Like they could easily. I know D2 is different than D1, but they could have a similar schedule to that.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And again, I'm not a TV guy. I don't understand the infatuation with Monday night. Is that the best ratings night that they could have? Because college football the championship should be a Saturday night. That's how it should be. I know people go out on dates and go out to dinner and all that on Saturday nights, but college football championship should be a Saturday night.
I think the thought is everyone's at home on a Monday night. People aren't out on the town or people aren't on vacation. True. Everyone's home because it's Monday night. You're working or school. So you're home. What are you going to do? Sit on your couch and watch the game? But
I'd love to see some real stats on that. I mean, that could be completely wrong, but any big game on a Saturday night, what the ratings would be,
I know Ole Miss Georgia, which was an all-time game. It was Ole Miss Miami. It was only like 15 million viewers that they played on a Thursday or whatever. The ratings are down. So I don't know if that's just because of college football as a whole. Probably. I don't know if people necessarily cared a ton about Ole Miss versus Miami, but you got to solve this. It's ludicrous. There's so many issues in college football they got to solve. And we were talking about Indiana. To me, I feel like college football with the quote unquote awesomeness about it, it made me feel like a kid. I feel like it's like decreased by about 20% in likability the last 2-3 years with transfer portal, with the 12-team college football playoff, with NIL out of control. I seriously think it's still awesome. I still watch every weekend. It's football. It's the best, but it really does feel like about 20% of what made it great is been deteriorated over the last 5 years. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
I mean, the only rebuttal to that would be, I know we're staying long on college football right now. The only rebuttal to that would probably be that Indiana is going to bring smaller programs and make them think we have a chance to do it, whereas it's not always Ohio State, Georgia, Alabama, and Oregon, in the playoff. Like now Indiana can win a championship, now some of these smaller schools can grab a couple portal guys and make it run, maybe that's why a guy like Dillingham stayed at Arizona State, because it's like, look at that. I mean, this is not only is this my hometown, I just got to hit a couple portal guys and I can make a run in the playoff too, so. Yeah,
absolutely. I got one final question before we move on to pro football. Actually, it's a two-parter. Do you think we'll ever see the day where they eliminate the conference championship games with the playoff expansion? And on playoff expansion, the talk has been now looking at 24 teams. Is that insane? I mean, I could see going to 16 and eliminate the buys, but 24, that's nuts.
That's the Big Ten is it pushing for 24 teams, and then the SEC wants to stay at 16. Yeah, the Big Ten's is like 6 automatic Big Ten, 6 automatic SEC, 6, the Power 4 basically, and then a couple like at-large bids. That's too many. You would have to adjust the schedule if you went to 24 because then now the games would be going past the Super Bowl, basically. No, I mean, conference championships, I think we all agree, like they should just go. But you talked about TV money earlier. Yeah. No, there's too much money involved in those. They're not going. Same with in college basketball. The conference tournaments, they're fun. When Michigan wins a Big Ten tournament, yeah, that's cool. But really, who cares about those? Yes, it's fun, but it's all about March Madness. But they're not going anywhere because of the TV money.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. Don't expand it. I never understood expanding from 4 to 12. To me, they should have went 4 to 8 or 4. I think 4, as we look back on it, man, it almost felt like the magic number. It really did. I mean, we've had some awesome games. I'm not going to complain about 12 because you do get some awesome games in the quarterfinal. But I mean, when 2 of the teams are a group of 5 teams, it makes you go, what the hell's been going on here? Did we really need to expand to 12? I thought 8 was the perfect number. 16 feels like too much. 24, way too much. I don't even who Michigan's in the playoff in reality. A horrible season we saw this year. Why even watch regular season if you're a Michigan fan? If it goes to 24, right. It's becoming college basketball. It would become college basketball for the top teams. We're gonna win 9 games every year, even when we're horrible, because of the bloated conference schedule with a zillion teams in these conferences. It makes zero sense to go to 24, but it seems like that's where we're heading, and it's unfortunate. Again, that 20% probably take another 10% hit to 30% of what I once loved about the sport. So it is what it is.
So if you had one vote, then we'll move on. I vote for 16. I think 12's crazy to have the bye. I'd rather see them play right out of the gate. That's my viewpoint.
If they went to 16, I would hope they would figure out a way to do away with conference championship weekend. Mm-hmm. But yeah, 16 would be as far as I would go. Not any more than that.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I guess I'd rather just keep it at 12. I hate 12.
Right.
It's weird, but I just don't like attention. I already feel like it's already taken away from the regular season enough. Where every game, I mean, man, it's funny how in the old college football, it's kind of like a 324 team playoff because every game mattered. You had to win. Now it's kind of hilarious in a way that it's kind of made it so nobody gets a chance, or at least less teams get a chance when you sort of think about it in a weird way. Indiana still would have been the champion in a team and a team in any sort of system. So same champion would have been crowned.
Well, right. You see before the playoff, you see all these teams lobbying, Tennessee's and Missouri's and Vanderbilt's and all these other teams lobbying to get in, and then they get beat in their bowl games. So it probably would have been better at 4, but we'll watch the games regardless.
Well, let's face it, D2 has it figured out. They know what they're doing. They do it right, man. Same amount of games that you play on the season if you get the national championship, but boom, boom, boom. You just keep rolling.
Games on campus, and then a neutral site championship game.
Perfect. All right, let's take another short break, and we'll be back and take a look at the National Football League right after this. Well, guys, I don't know where you want to start. I'll leave it to you guys. There's a bunch of storylines now heading into the next round of the playoffs, and what we just saw. Just again, the NFL is king.
Can we start with this? Who the hell is Drew Petzing? I mean, listen, I'm a bald, short, semi-fat guy, but you talk about failing the eye test. Who the hell is this guy?
You're right about that.
God. I don't need to go through the I saw like someone saying, he uses more 2 tight end sets and more 3 tight end sets than anybody in the league, and if that's the case, we're not the offense for that. I mean, I don't need to see Brock Wright out there every snap. We apparently have T-Slaw, who's the second coming of Jesus, apparently, to Brad Holmes. So if that's a world where we're in 2 and 3 tight end sets, then again, that pick made no sense. If this was all about and of course it burns. Harbaugh gets McDaniel. Yeah. I mean, we all want McDaniel. I understand. There's a possibility maybe he leaves for a head coaching job in a year or 2. So that shouldn't have factored into decision making. Right. I understand that he maybe is a little bit of a clash of style with what we're trying to do offensively. I think that's a good thing. We need some new blood. I know what the numbers bear out that we were top 5 offense this year. It felt like it really mattered, especially like 4th downs. We weren't converting, against the good team. I just would have liked to have seen some new life. The funny thing is apparently Petzing is like the best man in Ben Johnson's wedding, and Ben Johnson's, in his wedding as well. I guess you could say he's from the Ben Johnson tree. But dead giveaway. My brother lives in Arizona. Arizona fans are clouding this decision by the Lions, and sometimes you can't take everything a fan says,
Right.
and hold it. But think about how we felt when Ben Johnson left, like to the Bears. Like, no, you guys are really getting an offensive match. We watch this guy week in, week out, dial up amazing play. I've never heard once that somebody say Arizona's offense is super inspired or super innovative or creative. I understand they had some injuries last year, but in terms of a team that felt like it needed a jolt to a system, this was a 0.0 on the jolts scale. This was just the most boring hire. Maybe it's somewhat makes sense X's and O's wise, but in terms of getting me excited about next year, thinking, hey, we got the guy that's going to get us back to where we were with Ben Johnson, I don't see that with Petzing. Just a bad day to be a Lions fan, in my opinion. What do you guys think?
Especially when you see the report that Dan Campbell loved his chat or whatever, his interview with Mike McDaniel, and it was more the Lions. Yeah, maybe it was like you said, maybe he told them, he does want to pursue head coaching jobs in the future. So maybe they didn't want, a 1-year little hire if that is what was talked about. But to me, like if Dan Campbell was on board with Mike McDaniel, why not give him the job? Yeah, who knows how it's going to work out. But you talk about a clash of styles, Mike McDaniel and Jim Harbaugh, like, the Chargers clearly were like, listen, we saw what our offense did, this year with the Chargers. Let's bring in Mike McDaniel. We need some new juice. We need to freshen this up. And I feel like that's kind of what the Lions need after whatever the heck happened last year. Even though Goff put up good numbers, Jahmyr Gibbs didn't have as great of a season as we thought. And, there's some meat left on the bone, I guess, with the Lions offense. So I don't know, maybe Petzing will bring it. The Cardinals had basically the best rush offense in the league last year with all their injuries. Their tight end, Trey McBride, broke the record for catches by a tight end, 111 catches for a tight end. So obviously people right away are like, Sam Laporta, here you go. But my question is, can Sam Laporta stay healthy for a whole season? That's the big question. He hasn't been able to stay healthy for a whole season. So that's a big question mark. The offensive line obviously is going to be like I saw reports, the Lions might cut Taylor Decker. So they're going to have to be looking for a left tackle. Graham Glasgow at center. I mean, I don't know what he's going to do, retire or whatever, but he didn't have a great year. So are they going to be looking for a new center? So there's a lot of question marks, and it seems like bringing in a little bit of a wild card as an offensive coordinator, maybe it'll work out. Yeah, the Ben Johnson tree, sure. Did Ben Johnson give him, the vote of confidence? I would assume so. You say, yeah, this is a great hire, but yeah, a little bit of a head-scratching hire, but again, like sometimes that splash hire isn't all it's credit. I mean, we just talked about it with Cignetti. Sometimes the splash hire isn't what you have to do. Go get Mike McDaniel. Eric Bieniemy back in the day was the hot name, and people weren't hiring him. So to me, it's more about the roster. I think they have to improve the O-line, and then the offense will be fine. They have enough good players on offense. I think the offense will be all right.
Yeah, you guys are right on with both of your thoughts. I mean, when it was announced, I said, who? Huh? I mean, it was a zero excitement factor for sure. I thought McDaniel was the hire you needed. So what if he was coming in for 1 year? This window is closing, I mean, you got to do it now, or you got a 2-year window the way I look at it with this bunch, that's where they're at. And that's all you can do. It is funny. A lot of people think LA and Southern California, a lot of weirdos there. And now you got 2 weirdos on that Charger staff, man. It fits perfect.
You do want to just, man, wouldn't it be fun to sit in a meeting room, be a fly on the wall with those two guys? I mean, one, you learn a lot about football, but two, I mean, just clash of styles, and it's just 2 weirdos, but weirdos in the best way. So, it's Matt, you tweeted out, get Hard Knocks there ASAP. I mean, you talk about the most exciting, and I was actually thinking that with Harbaugh, the Chargers were so goddamn boring just this year, watching them in the playoffs. Harbaugh really went to the one fan base, the one franchise where I'm like, dude, it's almost like they don't even exist. I know they have Herbert, who I'm not necessarily super sold on, but they needed a jolt of life to me, just in terms of drama and entertainment. And I think McDaniel was the perfect, foil for that. And that's why we wanted to see McDaniel in Detroit for that same type of reason. You know, it would have been exciting to watch, see how it works out. It's similar way, clash of styles with him in MCDC, but now at least it goes to Harbaugh, which will second best guy that I would like to have seen get him just for entertainment purposes.
Yep.
Yeah. Also,
we'll see.
It's going to be interesting for sure. And I mean, couple of the storylines from last weekend too. I mean, the Bills and Denver game, you know, Bo Nix goes out after the game with a broken ankle and they got to go with their backup quarterback. Sean McDermott's fired, you know. I mean, I get it, but boy, what a tough business, huh?
The NFL is a brutal business because, I mean, earlier, you know, a week or two ago, John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin are fired. Yep. And I mean, those two are maybe a little different. Maybe those were situations where, you know, the time had come for both the franchise and those coaches to move on. But, you know, both Super Bowl winning coaches. The McDermott thing with the Bills, you look at all the numbers, most wins over the last 4 or 5 years, most points scored, most, you know, all these like numbers. The Bills are at the top of all of those. They just haven't been able to get it done, you know, in the playoffs, which is obviously a big deal. But, you know, it's crazy to think like for like a head coach resume, he could be like, look at this. Like I did everything except the playoff wins, you know? So I wouldn't doubt that he'll be unemployed very long, but you know, who knows?
Right.
The Bo Nix thing is crazy because I mean, people were showing video of him like walking around on the field like without a limp. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I don't know, like I guess
adrenaline, maybe.
Right, adrenaline, or maybe even he was just trying to like hide it a little, you know, like trying to not limp. You know, maybe he felt like, man, my ankle hurts, but you know, whatever. Yeah, adrenaline. But right to right after the game, Peyton's on the podium saying broken ankle, he's done for the year is absolutely insane. Now Jarrett Stidham is starting for them. You know, what does it remind you of? Is that the Jeff Hostetler story from back in the day?
Yeah. Hostetler was legit. I'm not sure about Stidham.
Right. Yeah. Hostetler had started before, but Phil Simms got hurt for the Giants and Hostetler had to go in and play. So, yeah, I mean, it is crazy storylines, but I mean, I think you said it at the top of this. The NFL always delivers. These games, there's been a couple little blowouts there, like that Steelers game was a little bit of a snoozer, but otherwise, these games are just so good. That Bears playoff. I mean, Caleb Williams, the plays he was making. I mean, he ended up not winning, obviously, through that interception. But I mean, these NFL playoff games are just so good.
Yeah, it's exactly right. All great games. The Bears seem to just be a lightning rod where anytime they played this year, it was going to be an all-time classic back and forth game. They were just ultimate come from behind team. To me, with the Bo Nix thing, of it, to me, it really is like when he got hurt, you go, oh, who's their backup? Like maybe it's somebody fun. Maybe it's a Jameis Winston, or obviously it wasn't Jameis. We know where Jameis is with the Giants. But you're like, man, maybe it's somebody fun where you can get an all-time shot here in the AFC Championship game. That's like Jarrett Stidham. It's like, all right,
Stidham,
who hasn't thrown a pass, I think, in 2 years in a regular season game, which is kind of crazy to think about. I think he's like the only quarterback to do that. So it'll be fun to watch, see where what happens in that game.
I will say, not to cut you off, Jared. I just saw this morning when Sean Payton went to Denver, the first free agent signing he made was Jarrett Stidham, because apparently Sean Payton just loves this dude, and he's been with the Broncos ever since Payton has been there. So you know we'll see how it goes, but all the reports are this dude Sean Payton loves him. He knows the offense in and out. So
it's see. Like Bo Nix is solid. It's not like you just lost Peyton Manning. You know, right. I mean, it's overcomable. It's not going to look super duper different. I mean, maybe it will. I mean, man, you watch like CJ Stroud, which I don't know what the hell's happened to that guy.
Right. Oh my god,
that's when the talk around here is. I mean, like that's I was listening to Sports Talk yesterday, like which all the sports talk radio stations here are on AM radio, which I think is wild. But I was listening to it. That's all they're talking about. CJ Stroud. What do you do with Stroud? What do you do with Stroud? I mean, it is a bizarre situation. He balls out his rookie year. Now he's looking like, Davis Warren out there, essentially. Maybe worse because Davis Warren throwing 4 picks in a game. I mean, that defense was so good for the Texans. If he does anything but throw 4 picks, they might win that game and be looking at Jarrett Stidham. Be looking at a Jarrett Stidham away from a Super Bowl appearance. But yeah, Seahawks on the other end, Seahawks and Rams, I think is the game of the weekend easily. I think the winner of that is probably the front runner to win it all. Matt Stafford had that unreal throw to Devontae Adams down the stretch in that Bears
Insane.
game. That showed you he's still got it. I mean, I
Clutch.
can't believe what he's doing, man. He's got that California vibes going with the tan, with the lost weight. He's looking good. So
Got
yeah,
those
it's
veneers,
NFL
too.
playoffs are the best. Yeah, that too. NFL playoffs are the best. So I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to watching this weekend. But one thing I want to throw out there, and this is kind of a little bit off topic, we haven't talked about this, and I'd be curious your guys' thoughts on this. The Skubal arbitration. We haven't talked baseball, man. Baseball's coming up quick. The
Hot stove,
Skubal
baby.
arbitration topic. What do you guys make of this? Is this a Scott Boras and Skubal issue where they threw out a ridiculous number, $32 million? Is this the Tigers lowballing Skubal? Where do you guys stand on this?
I mean, I think there's probably both sides of that. And Tigers are definitely lowballing him. They know what he's going to get on the market. You know, they know whatever they offered in that arbitration is not going to be up to what the Dodgers and Red Sox, Yankees, some of these other teams are going to offer. And Scott Boras is probably telling them that, like, look at these deals that some of these other pitchers are getting. And then when the Tigers throw out their offer, Boras, you know, his agent probably like, this is ridiculous. No, you will be able to get triple this. We'll see what happens with it. I mean, Skubal, he's been saying all along, he's going to play the season out, and you know he's under contract. I'm gonna play the season out. We'll see if that actually happens. It'll be a shame when he does play the season out and contends for a third straight Cy Young, and then leaves in free agency, and the Tigers get nothing. You know, that'll be a shame.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they're going to offer as much money as some of these other teams. Maybe they will, but history says otherwise.
It's a bad look for sure. But I think we're missing one thing that's happening in baseball, and that's, are they even going to play opening day? You know, I mean, aren't they at an impasse right now? And the salary structures are absolutely insane. You look at the Dodgers and, you know, some of these other teams compared to the rest of the league, it's out of control. These salaries.
It's ridiculous.
Right.
It'll be next year, I believe, is when the lockout would happen, 2027.
Okay.
Something needs to change. This is freaking ridiculous. I mean, they just signed Kyle Tucker, the Dodgers did, and you don't get mad at the Dodgers. They don't basically, they've smartly like almost have a monopoly going where they keep winning titles. Money keeps pouring in because they're winning titles. They keep signing top players. Like every regular season game looks like it's just about sold out for them. It's like they are just operating at a 10 times higher level than anybody else. We need to get a salary cap or something. The players don't want that though. So it's like, how can you, if these players aren't bothered, I mean, because they're the ones that they all keep jumping to the Dodgers. Where do you think Skubal's going to go? He's going to go to the Dodgers if he reaches free agency. I think he's going to test free agency no matter what. I don't know why he wouldn't. He's going to get paid $1 billion, probably Dodgers. So it's time for change. It's unfortunate the lockout is probably going to be what causes it. This is the MLB that brought this on themselves. I mean, there's like conspiracy theories. People are talking about how, you know, a divorce 10, 15 years ago by the Dodgers between their ownership, like a marriage that got divorced basically caused the MLB to cover up a bankruptcy, you know, filing with Dodgers. So they cut this insane TV deal that's now like almost going to cause a lockout for the MLB because of it, you know, 10 years later. I don't know what to believe, but it sounds like that's something that's got some truth. So it's a serious problem. It's unfortunate. Tigers are kind of, you know, seemingly dealing with it. Nobody can pay these guys.
Right.
I've talked about it. Yeah, in theory, do you wish that they would pay, you know, $60 million a year? Are we winning the World Series with Skubal? No. Like, pay him next year with the same roster that, you know, is Matt Vierling taking cuts? No.
Right.
You're not winning. You're not beating the Dodgers, who have 8 Tarek Skubals on their roster.
Right.
And I've been there for Skubal games. It's like, you know, pretty full. It's a little bit more full than normal, but you're not recouping $60 million a year on Tarek Skubal throwing once every week. Oh, and when it's you know, he's capped out at 100 pitches come playoff time. It's a tough call to me. Has got to be this trade now. And if you're Skubal, let's say he gets arm soreness, you know, 1 month into the season, why would you keep pitching? Why would you keep pitching for this team that isn't going to pay you, isn't going to allow long term? Why would you jeopardize, you know, basically a $500 million payday upcoming just to try to tough it out to squeak into the playoffs and win a series for this team? It makes no sense to do it. So
I mean that the kind of money that some of these players are getting isn't just like life changing. This is like generational type of money. You know what I mean? So like you can't get mad at a guy like Skubal seeing what the Tigers offered and saying, no, I can get triple this, maybe even quadruple this if I test the free agent market. And then my family is set for generations. So, you can't get, because I've seen some people say like the players are greedy. No, they're not. What are you talking about? If someone's offering you this kind of money, what are you supposed to say? No, I don't want to be greedy. You know what I mean? No, I'm going to stay in Detroit for less money. No, I can't get mad at the players.
No way. I mean, we live in America. We're a capitalist country, for God's sakes. We work to make money. You can't blame the players at all. I don't. I blame really the commissioner. So the commissioner is supposed to represent the owners, right?
Yep.
Are all the owners in baseball on board with this? I mean, do they have winter meetings? Don't they? All the owners get together. Don't they talk about this stuff and do a vote and say, what the hell's going on here?
The players don't want it. That's the problem. The players don't want the salary cap. So it's like I think there was a story of man walked in on Bryce Harper yesterday, like in the locker room to talk about it. And Bryce Harper said, I'm not talking about this. Get out. It is a weird, how has it got this long without a salary cap in the MLB? It's look at these deals. You see them every year. Miguel Cabrera's contract, Albert Pujols' contract. They make almost 0 sense. They're like 10 years deals that, I don't even understand how ever being in a sport where it feels like year to year guys have significant highs and significant lows.
Right.
But that's the problem. I think the owners are in agreement, need a salary cap. They want it. I mean, it's going to save money. And it's going to cut the legs out of the Dodgers, but the players aren't going to do it. So that's why a lockout is imminent, and it sucks, man. But that seems to be where we're heading.
And you can see why would the players want it? Kyle Tucker just got $240 million. If there was a salary cap, he wouldn't be getting that much, So you can see that. Why would the players want a salary cap? If the Dodgers and the Yankees and they're just going to keep throwing money around, sure. Why have a salary cap? But the owners, that's why there might be a lockout, because the owners are like, this isn't fair. I mean, the top 5-6 teams in baseball have $500 million, payrolls. Whereas, you got like some of the lower teams, Marlins, Brewers, even the Tigers are pretty low, under $100 million payroll. And you can't compete. I mean, it's kind of to an extent like what's going on. We talked about with college football. They kind of leveled the playing field by opening up to everyone being able to pay players. So it has allowed teams like Indiana to win a national championship. So salary cap, I mean, would that help? Maybe, I guess probably, but I don't know. I don't know how it would work, because right now all these players are under contract. So if they started a salary cap, what would the Dodgers do? Because they're obviously way over the salary cap. So I don't know how all that would work out, but it does stink because, I just saw someone tweet out the potential opening day roster or lineup for the Tigers, and it wasn't very exciting. It was, again, Parker Meadows in center field, Matt Vierling. It was just kind of like, oh, God, we got.
They're a lovable team, but they're not a World Series team.
Right.
They're a playoff team, and they'll have some fun. They'll make some noise, and we'll form, and maybe at some points we'll even believe they could be a World Series team. The Dodgers are inevitable. I mean, it's how do you look at their rotation? They got a couple of the best pitchers in baseball, like all-stars all up and down the lineup. Yeah, you can have a magical day, in the summer with Bierling and McKinstry and Perez, but water's going to find its level. And in playoffs where you got to be at your best, against the team playing whatever it is, best of 7 series. We saw in that Mariners series, man, it was at some point you run out of juice, and the offense didn't score run, and we didn't do anything to improve that offense. So we're just running it back with a group of likable guys that I like rooting for, and I think we all can agree on that, but 100%. Not a World Series.
Yeah, and I do agree with what you're saying. I mean, it's inevitable. There's going to be a lockout in 27. It's coming to a head, and I don't see any way around it. Which, again, it's going to damage baseball. People will come back eventually, but it's definitely going to damage it for a while, without a doubt. Before we move on, we'll have a Tedtertainment tonight here coming up as well. Let's go right now to the Prep Spotlight presented by the Jacobs Insurance Agency, local, independent, and trusted. A few things here to go over. Last Friday night, I talked about it a little bit in the open. Owasso played Corunna, and on the boys' side, Owasso won 51-31. Tristan Williams put up 12 for the Trojans. On the girls' side, Corunna beat Owasso 42-37. The Cavs closed out the win with a 12-0 run. Gracie Termier led the way with 11. On Saturday, I wish I could have gone to the game, but then I went to the Cavalier fundraiser night at the Knights of Columbus, so I didn't go. But at Fowler High School, the Freeland Falcons gave North Muskegon their first loss of the season, 75-63. Wilson Huckabee had 22, and Tristan Comer put up 20. Did you get any further intel on that one, Jared, from your brother, Coach John?
No, I mean, a big win. But no, I actually haven't yet. So they seem to have found their footing. It's a big time win against North Muskegon, so keep it rolling.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, congrats to our local MHSAA Scholar Athlete finalists, Duran's Madison Dennis, Corona's Nolan Carr, and Joel DeLorge, Langsburg's Isabella Latusik, and Para's Emma Winans. Now, the 3 Point Podcast Prep Spotlight Performances of the Week. It's on the girls' basketball side. New Lothrop's Caitlin Wendling scored 27 in a recent win over Byron to put her over the 1,000-point milestone on her great Hornet career. She had 26 in their most recent game. Get this, a 62-3 win over Byron. 62-3. Oh, my goodness. Poor Byron.
That's not fun.
I have a couple of names to watch in girls basketball. I'll end it with this stat. Senior Avery Zinn of Genesee currently has 1,892 points on her career. She's averaging just a smidge under 40 points a game. She's on pace for plus 2,500 for her career. And remember this name, Maya McGregor of Mayo. She's only a junior. She passed the 2,000-point mark. The all-time record in the MHSA record book is Central Lakes 2011 grad Jasmine Hines holds the career mark, 3,034 points in a high school career. Can you imagine that?
It's a lot of points. You said the previous, she was averaging just under 40 points a game.
39.8.
That's a lot of points per game.
That's Pete Maravich stuff right there.
Right.
So some pretty good girls basketball out there. And as we always say, suggestions for the Prep Spotlight can be emailed over to me at tedfattel@gmail.com or hit us up on social media at 3 Point Pod. All right, let's take our final break. Come back with a little Tedtertainment Tonight right after this. All right, Tedtertainment Tonight. Matt, why don't you start us off on this one? What you been watching?
Sure. So we've texted a little bit about it, and we've talked about it in previous Tedtertainment Tonights. But Landman, the current season 2 finally finished up, and I'd given some thoughts. I was never out on the show. We're definitely we enjoy it. My wife and I keep up on it every week, and we're into it. But this season was one of those in the middle. Some of it was getting a little like predictable with some of the writing. It's still great though. It's not a criticism, but with other Taylor Sheridan shows, you can just kind of see what's coming. But the season finale, the one that just happened, honestly, it was one of my, maybe prisoner of the moment, one of my favorite shows, like individual shows that I've watched in recent time. It was just this is going to be a couple spoilers. So Jared, you haven't watched the final episode?
No, I'll just I guess I'll just take my headphones off and then you guys go ahead and then tell me back on.
I'll wave at you when we're done.
Yeah. So, with Billy Bob getting fired, it was kind of like, all right, what's going to happen? Because, he's the star of the show. There's obviously his family and, Sam Elliott was a big part this season. But, it's kind of like, all right, what's going to happen? It's not just going to be like he gets fired and something terrible, like something good is going to happen. It was just like, what's it going to be? Is it going to be his son's business? He hit on all those wells. Is he going to stick it to Cammy, the one who fired him, so that this final episode was just, it kind of kept you locked in the whole time. But I was laughing a lot. I said to my wife while we were watching, the show's funny because like he's got this private jet and he does so much in one day. It always like he starts off his day back at the pool smoking a cigarette, and then it's like he gets on the plane, he flies to Fort Worth, flies to Dallas, then he's back, and now his son's getting accused of murder and he has to go to the sheriff's office for that, and then he's getting his whole new business going. Like, man, that's a hell of a day he just had, flying all over the place, driving all over the place. But it was cool to see. My one criticism, so it was a cool tie off on like a happy ending type of thing, because he got his crew, Dale and Boss and his crew is involved. Nate, his treasure, I guess, stuck it to Cammy. The one thing I wish we would have seen is like Cammy's reaction to seeing what Tommy did. That's the one thing I wish we could have seen. Like, her, like the last final, he stuck it to her type of thing. That I wish we would have seen her be like, oh shit, he got me type of thing.
Yeah.
But maybe that's not the point of it, but getting his dad involved and all that kind of stuff, like it really was it was a great way to end the season.
Yeah, old Sam there getting some happy endings. That was pretty cool too. But one of my favorite parts of this last episode was the lawyer. I love the lawyer. I mean, she's eye candy, first of all, really nice looking. But when she went into that police office there and just laid down the law, that was classic acting right there.
Yep. The one thing too, like they set up really big the geography guy, the guy that she ended up hooking up with. He just kind of went away. I know he was like off on the rig or whatever, but like he was a big part for like 2 episodes.
Yep.
And then he just kind of went away.
Gone.
But no, good season. And I didn't see it, but you said that it's confirmed for season 3.
Yep.
I'll be curious to see where season 3 goes from here. Obviously, I would assume it'll follow Tommy and his family's venture, but no, very good season.
And we might see in episode 1 of season 3 Demi's reaction, right? Pammy. Yeah. So we'll see. Anything else you watching?
Well, his and hers. I brought it up. We finished that. The thriller on, like I think you texted Ted. You said it's a classic Netflix thriller, a little far fetched with a few things, but I'll be curious to hear your thoughts. But it was one of the, I mean, we binged it in like 2 days because each episode we were like, let's just keep going. Let's watch one more.
Yep.
But it's worth a watch. I mean, if you like those kind of like murder mystery thriller type of shows, a little cheesy at times, but I think
what's that about exactly?
Go ahead.
How would you describe that?
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like a whodunit type of thing. Like there's some murders and there's kind of like a serial killer in a sense, and they're trying to figure out who's doing it.
Well, the 2 main stars, Tessa Thompson, she's a TV anchor woman, right? Mm-hmm. She had been gone for a year because she's married to a chief detective in the area. So they set it up as who's committing these murders, the detective or the wife? And then they have a classic ending on the finale. So I won't give anything away, but it like Matt said, it keeps your attention because there's murders, there's intrigue. And we did the same thing, Matt. I think it took us 3 days to get through the whole thing, but it definitely sucked you in. I know I'd watch a show and I'd say to my wife, well, what do you want to watch? Move something different or watch another episode? Well, let's watch another episode. So and it was a classic Netflix, a Netflix show. I mean, is it Academy Award or Emmy winning time? No, but it keeps your attention. It's good. Every episode ends, you want to go back to the next episode. So well done.
And I like the main actor. I'm blanking on his name, but he's in a bunch of movies.
Shane from Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he's good. I like him in movies. He's good.
John Bernthal, is that his name?
Yeah, there you go. Bernthal. Yep.
So I would recommend it. I would recommend it, Jared. If you guys are looking for something to watch, it's worth a watch.
Do you notice in the early portions of the show, he had quite the effect where he'd say, yeah, after every time he'd say something. Did you pick up on that?
I did a little bit, yeah.
Good show, though. Definitely worth the watch on Netflix. And I got one that I don't think I've talked about. It's a CNN documentary. You guys know I talked about it a little bit at the beginning of the podcast. I'm the resident SNL fan. I stick with it. I'll stick with it till it's off the air. But there was a documentary on CNN called "I'm Chevy Chase and You're Not." Man, it was really, really good. And it doesn't paint him in the best picture because he kind of was always known as an a-hole. But it went through his whole career, and it was really well done. So if you want to watch a documentary about Chevy Chase, check it out on CNN.
He's pretty off-putting from what I've seen. I think I've even seen some clips from an interview from that where he's basically saying like, "You're too dumb to understand me" or something like that. This guy, man, was he that like? He's pretty good at Caddyshack. I agree. I've never been a family vacation guy. I've never been a what is it? Is it Christmas Vacation? What's even the Christmas one called?
Yeah.
I've never been a big fan of those movies. I've never really understood the huge I never really found Chevy Chase like that funny. Isn't that crazy?
That's probably a generational thing. I mean, I don't, Matt, you kind of maybe fall in the middle. Yeah, I thought he was good on the first season of Saturday Night Live, and then he got the big head. You know, he got some movie offers. Flatch, I think, was his first movie. I thought the vacation movies were really funny myself, and I enjoyed them. And yeah, he was good in Caddyshack, but he's had kind of a spotty career.
Right. Yeah, I was never a big Chevy Chase guy. Caddyshack, obviously, but never big on the Christmas Vacation and those movies either. But I did see some clips, and it didn't make him look like a good guy necessarily. At least the clips I saw.
No, he was an a-hole, still an a-hole, but made quite a career for himself too. You know,
for sure.
All right, anybody else got anything else on Tedtertainment, or should we wrap it up?
Yeah, I think we're good.
I think we're good. All right. Well, as always, we're brought to you by the Memorial Healthcare's Wellness Center. Get in shape with a 2026 membership. Still room for you there at the Wellness Center. I need to get back in there on a more regular basis, man. The holiday just killed me this year. But I also want to thank our other great partners. They include AZee Branding Solutions, ALS of Michigan, Blackstones Public House, Great Lakes Apparel Company, brand new on board to us, Jacobs Insurance Agency, Kori and Associates Real Estate Services, Nelson House Funeral Homes, Nichols Painting, Success Group Mortgage and Servicing, the Shiawassee County Fair, our final sponsor. I want to remind you that the next Z92.5 game of the week, we got two of them this week. We got a Thursday night game, St. John's at Fowlerville. We'll follow it up Friday, January 23rd, Goodrich at Owasso. So tune in to Casey and Joe for those ball games. You can catch the replays right here at 3 Point Podcast. That's it. Peace and love, everybody. Be kind. Thanks for listening.